New batches of Su-57 fifth-generation fighters and Su-34 strike fighters were announced on December 23 to have been delivered to the Russian Air Force by the state-owned United Aircraft Corporation, UAC. This follows the delivery of previous batches of Su-57s in mid-November and mid-September. Russian industry has also set a highly ambitious target of a 67% surge in the production of Su-57s in 2024, with 20 fighters expected to enter service this year compared to just 12 fighters in 2023 and only 6 fighters in 2022. This will nearly double the fleet size from 22 to 42 fighters. The size of the two confirmed Su-57 batches has not been disclosed, and it remains uncertain how close Russian industry has come to meeting ambitious production targets. To accommodate expanded production of the Su-57, the Komsomolska-on-Amur aviation plant in the Russian Far East in August saw new facilities opened in August, although these are considered unlikely to contribute to the expansion of production in 2024. It remains uncertain what scale the fighter's production will reach, with this depending heavily both on foreign orders and the success of the development of the competing S-75 lightweight fifth-generation fighter. The preceding Su-30, for example, saw the large majority of aircraft built being ordered by foreign clients rather than for the Russian armed forces. Although the Su-57's direct predecessor from the fourth generation, the Su-27, was produced at rates of over 100 per year in the Soviet Union, the aircraft was not only much less costly to manufacture, but it was also built at a time when the USSR had a far larger defense budget in inflation-adjusted figures and a much larger air force to accommodate new aircraft. With these production rates having been maintained exclusively to meet domestic demand, however, the large orders that are expected for the Su-57 from clients such as India and Algeria could facilitate production at rates approaching 40 aircraft per year in the early 2030s. The UAC emphasized that the Su-57 is part of the central combat link of the special operation along with the Su-34 and Su-35. It is the joint use of these three types of aircraft that allows for a comprehensive response to emerging threats. The Su-34 functions as the combat workhorse under the protective cover of the Su-35. Clearly, the Su-57 is still evolving. Incorporating new capabilities mandates changes in the production process and increased subsystems testing. The UAC statement covering the recent delivery could hint at such changes when it states, "Today, at the UAC enterprise, where fighters are produced, production is being updated." As part of the implementation of promising technical re-equipment projects, construction and installation work was completed at new facilities of the flight test station. To expand the serial production of the Su-57, the construction of an additional building has begun, where fifth-generation aircraft systems will be tested. Russia is known to be developing several new air-to-surface weapon systems based on the experience of its forces in the SMO over the past 2.5 years. One illustrative example. In August, it was reported that Russia had begun producing the combat UAV, Monochrome, which can be launched from the Su-57 to penetrate enemy rear areas. A photograph of the Su-57 with the S-71M, Monochrome, UAV mounted under its wing surfaced online. The photo was taken on April 18 during Monochrome testing. The UAV resembles an air-to-surface cruise missile with a trapezoidal fuselage, similar to the British Shadow Storm. However, unlike a cruise missile, the drone is equipped with cameras and can be operated from the aircraft to strike enemy targets with mini-bombs. The monochrome can also be used to designate targets for weapons of its Su-57, as well as for fighters operating in conjunction with it. The S-71M combat UAV was needed to extend the range of aviation and enable operations against enemy rear areas in conditions of a layered air defense system. A simpler version of the monochrome, the S-71K, cover, is an ordinary air-launched cruise missile equipped with a cluster warhead. Integrating the S-71M with the Su-57 must have been challenging as well as time-consuming. Earlier, in December 2023, TASS reported, quoting two high-ranking sources close to the Russian Aerospace Forces, VKS, that all production Su-57 fighters transferred to the VKS in 2024 would feature second-stage Al-51 engines. As stated earlier, there is no hard evidence that the Su-57 production rate has fallen short of the target this year. However, the possibility that substantially more than 2 to 3 fighters have been delivered this year is real. The delay in upgrading the Su-57 with Al-51 engines is obvious. Even if the Su-57 production rate has fallen short of the target, this is not a cause for concern for Russia. For one, VKS is currently not heavily reliant on the Su-57. It has been reported that the Su-57's flyaway cost is approximately $35 million per aircraft, depending on ruble exchange rates. If that is so, it would make the Su-57 less than half as expensive to procure as the Chinese J-20 or the much lighter single-engine F-35. It is also reported that the Su-57's lifecycle costs, acquisition and operations, are comparable to those of the Su-27, Su-30, and Su-35, which it was designed to replace. Also, the Stage 2 Al-51 engine to be fitted on the Su-57 not only gives the fighter supercruise a longer range but also cuts down operating costs because of better fuel consumption and longer engine life. Under the circumstances, it makes sense for the UAC to focus more on honing the platform rather than on meeting production rate targets.